This video will show you how to make my Katniss rose. My Katniss rose is set on wire and it has 6 leaves attached to it in 2 pairs of 3. It's fully adjustable, the wire can be bent and the head of the rose can be bent forwards and the leaves can be repositioned very easily just by bending the wire. This is a lovely rose to use in vase arrangements or table centerpieces. You can even put it in gift bouquets and wedding bouquets. So to get started, you will need an old book. You'll also need some wire. I used Oasis wire, which is 35 centimeters long. You'll also need a template. You can download this via the link in the video description, and if you print it out at 100% on A4 paper, it will be exactly the right size. You'll also need some green paper or coloured paper for the leaves. 1 sheet of A4 should be plenty. In addition, you'll need some scissors and some thread. You'll need some florist tape, some PVA craft glue and some high-tack glue, and some wallpaper paste. The link for mixing up the wallpaper paste to the right consistency will also be in the video description. You'll also need some bendy wire. This wire is more flexible than the Oasis wire, but you can use any kind of wire that you like. So to start with, you'll need to take 4 pages from your chosen book. Take the 4 pages and fold them in half. And then simply align your template to the edge of the writing and cut around the template. Each cut will give you 8 petals, and we need 21 petals for this rose, but as always, it's always good to cut a few spare. So once all your petals are cut, we need to lay them out in front of us, and if you've seen any of my other videos, you'll know how to do this by now. So we want 3 rows of 6 petals with 2 extra petals to the right hand side and all of the spare petals to the left. And we'll take one of the petals from the spares pile and what we want to do is curl it inwards from the right hand side to the middle and then twist it round so that we make a little cone shape. And then inside the cone shape we'll put a little daub of wallpaper paste, and then we'll insert our wire halfway up. If you've made some of my other roses on a wooden stem, you'll find attaching this to the wire stem is completely different because you've got less than a millimetre's worth of stem to hold on to, but it's fine, it's just a little bit fiddlier. So we'll take our thread, and what we want to do is bind the petal to the wire by twisting the thread around and around several times, and once you're happy that it's secure, wind the thread down to the bare wire. At this point, set it to one side, and then we'll just put a dab of wallpaper paste on each of the petals in front of us. Then pick up your first petal and take the next petal from the first row in front of us, and then align it so that the base of the petals align, and then twist the thread around to secure it in place. Pick up the next petal and you want to place it directly opposite. And then bind the thread around. So now we have 3 petals attached to the wire stem. All of the other petals that we add, we want to add them so that the middle of each new petal aligns with the very edge of the previous petal. Simply pinch it and twist the thread around. And this is the process that we need to use for all of the rest of the petals, making sure that the middle of each new petal aligns with the very edge of the previous petal, and then wrap the thread around. If you have seen some of my other tutorials, this process is very similar, and you can use the timestamps in the video description to jump to the part that's relevant. There'll also be another tutorial which shows you how to gift wrap these. I'll put the link in the video description. So if you don't want to miss out, do subscribe and you won't miss out when the new tutorials are published. When you get to the very last petal, add it in the usual way, but put a few extra twists in the thread, and then wind the thread down to the bare wire. Snip off the thread and put a good amount of wallpaper paste all along the thread, the wire and the bunchy bit of petals at the bottom of the rose. And then you can gently tease the petals open with your fingertips. The rose is quite sturdy at this stage, and it will withstand you moving the petals around a little bit. And then you want to put your flower to one side to dry. I usually leave it to dry for about 24 hours. So the next stage is making your leaves. And what we want to do for this is take your template and fold your paper so that it will fit the template. We want to cut 2 leaves at once, which is why I fold the paper. Then just simply take your template and cut around the leaf shape. And each cut will give us 2 leaves, and we want to cut 6 times so that we get 6 pairs of leaves. So once all of your leaves are cut, so what we want to do is cut 2 lengths of wire that are about 16 centimetres long and 2 lengths of wire that are about 24 centimetres long. It doesn't have to be too precise. You can have them longer or shorter by a little bit if you prefer, and as you make these roses you'll get a feel for how long you want the leaves to be for your own arrangements. So once you have your wire cut, we will need to attach the leaves to the wire. So take 2 of the leaves, and I usually apply the high-tack glue around the edge and along the middle. My glue's coming out really clumpy today, I'm not really sure why. Perhaps I need to clean the nozzle, I'll just spread it around a little bit. So then we'll take our short lengths of wire, and what we want to do is place the wire down the middle of the glued leaf and then take its pair and press it down firmly on top. If you have a little bit of excess glue, it's perfectly fine to wipe it off with an old tea towel, and if you've seen my other videos you'll know that this is how I do it. Take a bit of tea towel, give it a wipe, and always wipe the glue away from the leaves, and then take a fresh bit of tea towel and press really firmly down between the paper and the wire, and you'll get a little imprint of the wire down the leaves. So do the same for the other short length of wire. And then we want to make the leaves for the longer length of wire, and it's exactly the same process except we will put a leaf on either end of the wire. So simply place the glue around the edge of the lower templates, align your wire down the centre of the leaf template, leaving about 1.5 centimetres at the top of the leaf. Press firmly, give it a little rub with the tea towel. If you've got any gaps like this, just press them down with your fingertips. The high-tack glue usually does hold it really well in place, but occasionally you can get little gaps. So this is why I like the high-tack glue, because it really does hold everything in place. So just continue doing this for all of the rest of the leaves. So we'll take our single leaf and a pair of leaves, and what we want to do is squeeze the wire on the pair of leaves so that they're nicely together. And then take the single leaf, and you want to place it so that the bottom of the single leaf is about 2.5 centimeters above the pair of leaves. And then put a little bit of high-tack glue on the wire, and then join them together simply by wrapping the florist tape around. You might get a little bit of glue on your fingers, but that's okay, because as you're turning the florist tape, that will spread the glue out along the florist tape. And then wind it down for about 3 inches. And do exactly the same with the other pair of leaves. Push them together so that the wire is close together, and attach the single leaf, and then join them together with the florist tape. Now the rose is dry, we will add the florist tape to the rose. Now what I like to do with this is put a little bit of the high-tack glue on the bunchy bit where the petals are all bound together. And simply wrap the florist tape around the bunchy bit, and wrap it so that it's gone round on itself, and then you can start to pinch it down the wire. Now I'll usually wind it halfway down the wire at this stage. So I'll take the first set of leaves, and what I'll normally do is align it so that it's about 1 inch underneath the flower head, and then use the florist tape to bind the leaves to the stem. I'll add a little bit of glue just for extra security once it's dry. And then about 1 inch under the first set of leaves on the opposite side of the stem, without cutting the florist tape, I'll just continue binding. Add a little bit of glue just so that when it's dry everything really holds in place, and then you just need to continue winding the florist tape all the way down to the bottom of the stem. And once you get to the bottom of the stem, you can apply a little bit more glue and snip off the florist tape. And that is the Katniss rose. All you need to do now is to position the leaves how you want them and the flower head how you want them. And these look lovely when grouped together with 3 or more. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and if you've got any questions at all, please pop them in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of my future videos. I've got lots more tutorials to come.